Microsoft was supposed to save Overwatch and the other Blizzard IPs. And while they have showcased an interest in Warcraft, Call of Duty, and Diablo, Microsoft really doesn't seem to care about Overwatch. Hi everybody, welcome to the video. My name is Abby. I'm in a very ranting mood right now. I might come off a little bit aggressive, so if you are not a fan of that type of content, or perhaps the tone of my voice, then please do click off now. That's going to be it for the warning. I'm going to get started. So for those of you that weren't around, we had an Xbox game showcase just yesterday, and in that showcase we had seen so many new games. We had seen games that we do know about, games like Sea of Thieves, you know, a new game coming out, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. We had seen a Fallout 76 update. We've been seeing a lot of new games and old games being given life, and Blizzard IPs were not excluded either. We had World of Warcraft, the War Within official date announcement. We had Diablo celebrating the anniversary, and then the official release date trailer for Vessel of Hatred. We had a bunch of those things, and of course, you know, the main attention point for Blizzard, or Activision Blizzard in this case, was Call of Duty Black Ops 6 generating a lot of hype. But do you know what Blizzard game was not there in any shape or form? Do you know what Blizzard game didn't get a single showcase, didn't even get a mention, didn't get put in any promotional material at all? Overwatch. And this is very bad for the game. And there's a lot of people, and I seriously mean a lot of people on the Reddits, there's a lot of people on the Twitter that do not understand what this means. If you are somebody that understands what this means for the future of Overwatch, congratulations, you'll accept the depression sooner than later than these people would. But now let me talk some gospel about this. Let's talk. What does this mean for the future of Overwatch? I feel like a lot of people seriously do not understand that this is Microsoft showcasing that they do not care about Overwatch. They do not care about investing as much as we thought they would. Time, money, attention, resources, employees. Overwatch has been left alone as a game that is basically in self-sustain mode. Any money that the skin, you know, the art team makes from, basically what I'm trying to say is, any money that Overwatch makes from the skins that they sell and the skins that are being designed by the art team and all this promotion and collab, that's it. That's as far as Microsoft is willing to help them. It's like, hey, we're going to help you do collabs, but everything else you do, whether you want to do an Arcane-like show, whether you want to do more animated shorts, whether you want to do this or that, or bigger in-game events or better in-game events, all of that is completely up to you, Overwatch. We're not going to support you beyond this point. This is extremely heartbreaking, and I'm seeing so many different Twitter accounts and all these people saying things like, well, it doesn't matter because Overwatch's new season is about to come out and they're going to release the trailer on YouTube. Okay, genius, what do you think sounds better? The trailer coming out at a big massive showcase where a lot of people that are fans and not fans of the game seeing it, and the new fans perhaps taking an interest in trying out the game, or releasing it on YouTube for just the Overwatch circle to watch? Do you get what I'm saying here? It's sad because it almost feels like Xbox or Microsoft is ashamed to showcase Overwatch to the world, to show Overwatch to the world. And do you know what they weren't ashamed about? Valorant. Valorant got a console announcement, and guys, console is where a lot of the player bases are for a lot of games. Okay, usually multiplayer games, especially shooters, they will have more players on consoles than PC. This is like, this data has been collected for many years. Okay, maybe for some games it's slightly different, but we have to understand that there is no game like Overwatch and Valorant out there. But to a certain degree, both those games in a weird way do compete with one another because they have these characters with personalities. They have these characters that, you know, exert confidence. They have this unique gameplay that people get attached to. It doesn't matter whether you're a fan of the search and destroy style or the arena shooter style in Overwatch or Valorant. What the point is the characters themselves. And yes, to a certain degree, Overwatch was the king of all of this. Overwatch was the king of giving you maps like never seen before that you would remember. Overwatch was the king of giving you characters that were unmatched in personality. And while a bunch of them had stereotypes, they had delivered them to us in a way where we could digest them in a fun way and appreciate those characters and fall in love with these characters. Iconic characters like Mercy, iconic characters like Tracer, Widowmaker, Genji, Hanzo, Cassidy, Ashe. You know, these are just some names that come on top of my head. Reinhardt, you know, Winston. These are characters that stand out like sore thumbs that, hey, this is that guy from Overwatch. But nowadays, we are seeing hero shooters come out left and right. Overwatch has a lot of competition coming for its head. We got Marvel Rivals coming in. We have Concord. We have these other like games being announced that look interesting. And whilst not all of them seem to be dedicated arena shooters other than maybe Marvel Rivals themselves, they are going to provide a form of competition, because that one player that maybe enjoys playing tank may actually find playing that type of a role or those type of characters in another game more enjoyable. Maybe a tank player will have a better time in Marvel Rivals. I know I did. You know, maybe a support player will have more fun in Concord. Maybe, like, it all just depends. My point is when Overwatch has all these competitors holding knives to Overwatch's neck, that hey, we're coming for you, we're coming for your player base, it's time to step it up, it's time for you to do something about it, it's time for you to showcase why you're the big final boss of arena shooters, of hero shooters. What does Overwatch do? Absolutely nothing. Is that in their control? Is that something that Microsoft said that no, we don't want to showcase Overwatch? Or did Microsoft see it from this POV that no, we have confidence that Overwatch will be its own thing? I don't know. But the reality of the situation is, from a business perspective, businesses like to showcase their products that they know will perform, that they know will make them money. That's why whenever you go to the store, they have all these like different products and, you know, services with all these, you know, fun promotional materials plastered all over them, because people buy them, people are interested in them. The biggest misconception in the Overwatch circle itself, especially on the Twitter community, is you'll notice people thinking like Overwatch is a game that is actually doing much better than what, you know, people might say about it. But the harsh reality of it now, especially now, is that, I'm sorry, it's really not. It's really not. And while the game might be growing on Steam, while the game might be growing on console, in my opinion, these numbers that Overwatch is now getting, these are numbers that it's basically playing catch up on for killing content for the past 3 years. So basically, Overwatch is in the process of making up for basically doing nothing for the past 3 years, and people think that's an achievement. I'm sorry, but that's the bare minimum that Overwatch should be doing right now. Everything Overwatch is doing right now is exactly that, the bare minimum. Where we are today is where we should have been in the past 3 years, but we weren't. And how many projects did Overwatch cancel? How many projects did not see the light of day? The clan system, what is the other thing? Like, they are taking out that tower defense game mode. Guys, how many games just comes back and says that, yeah, we didn't get the player reception we thought we would for this game mode, so we're going to remove it. Whoa, why are you removing your free game mode? Why don't you leave it in there and improve it over time? I don't understand. Like, if nobody's playing it, it doesn't matter, just leave it in there. Nobody plays like half the shit in the arcade. Why is that in there? I can go queue up for like this, like an arcade game mode right now, and what, I'll be in it for like 30-40 minutes, unless it's like the beginning and the peak of a season where people are all playing together. Only then maybe I'll get the game in every 10-15 minutes. So no, like, guys, I'm so frustrated. I'm frustrated at the fact that Microsoft doesn't give a shit about Overwatch. I'm frustrated that there's still delusional people in the Overwatch circle. They're not content creators, but like people that have some decent followings in there that sit there on Twitter and say shit like, well, no, you know, Overwatch is not actually in a bad spot, and I think you're overreacting. It's fine. Okay, here's my prediction, and I was saying this back in season 7 and 8 when I started to see the flags and when I could see that, oh shit, this is what's happening with this game. Overwatch is going to be reduced to nothing but a Barbie doll simulator. Okay, this is the harsh reality. It has been reduced to nothing but here's our new skins, most of now which are recolors, by the way, not even unique skins. Okay, and so one more thing I want to rant about. The fact that we've gotten more and more characters over time, and Blizzard has not made more and more skins per season and instead kept it that bare minimum number, is so stupid and disgusting to me. Okay, regardless, that's a rant for another day. The fact that Overwatch is going to be reduced to nothing but here's your favorite characters, here's occasionally an origin trailer with a comic or something that has nothing to do with the lore. 8 years later, and the story has not moved on from, well, Overwatch is kind of coming back together. Well, Overwatch is not back together, and now the story has gone absolutely nowhere. So there's no story. We know the PvE has been cancelled behind the scenes because it was explicitly stated in an article that they thought that the PvE missions would perform like crazy. And they didn't. And do you know why they didn't? Well, while the story and the narrative direction was nice and interesting, the actual PvE gamers themselves are so uninteresting. And I'm sorry, guys, this is a development team that works in Blizzard. These guys are the kings of PvE. And you have the executive director of Overwatch saying what? You have the executive director of Overwatch telling people that they are still learning how to design bosses. How do you work in Blizzard and you don't understand how to design boss fights is insane to me. We've had like 4 PvE events, and in all 4 of those events, all 3 of those events, I don't know how many freaking poor exclusive PvE events we've had. In all those events, the boss fight is, I am boss, but with more health. Oh, you increase the difficulty? Well, now I'm the mob with more health. This is the state of Overwatch PvE, and there are people that blindly think that this is how PvE is made. I beg of you to play an actual PvE game. I fucking beg of you to go and play Destiny. I beg of you to play Warframe. I beg of you to go play legitimately anything that is actually a PvE experience and see how mobs are done. See how boss fights are done, raid bosses are done. Because if you seriously think that the pinnacle of a boss fight is the difficulty increasing, meaning that the boss fight being harder is the HP pool being bigger and you having to use cheese strats to kill a boss, you are actually very, very stupid, and I'm not even going to hold back from saying that. If you seriously think that that was a peak mission design, there's something wrong with you. And on that same note, what the fuck is the Overwatch team doing, man? What have they been doing for all these years that even Microsoft, after buying this prop IP, whatever the flip you want to call this, right? Excuse me, I've seriously lost it here. After all this time, what has Team 4 been doing? They can't even give us a clan system. They can't even... It's been 3 years since they said that they were making weapon inspects. But because they couldn't monetize weapon inspects, because for obvious reasons, duh. Like, they couldn't monetize weapon inspects, they just stopped them. Like, what are we supposed to expect from this development team? This season was so lackluster and absolutely garbage because, half the season was like, oh yeah, here's Mirrorwatch with, like, the most bare minimum character roster that we didn't even expand over the course of a few weeks. Oh yeah, anyways, fuck that. Check out this Porsche collab. Yeah, we're partnering with Porsche. It has nothing to do with the Mirrorwatch event. Also, the Mirrorwatch event is gone. Here's Porsche. Buy the skins. It's utterly ridiculous because to a certain degree, I agree that Bobby Kotick for sure had his hands to play in ruining Overwatch. Okay, but then to another degree, at the end of the day, I believe in this firmly too. Team 4 has been given chance after chance after chance after chance after chance to prove that they can make Overwatch do something bigger and better. But it's been proven time and time again. The success that they found with Overwatch was completely accidental because it was supposed to be an MMO game. It just coincidentally popped off like this. They wanted to do a PvE game. They couldn't do a PvE game because they just didn't know how to make fun PvE games, despite Diablo and Warcraft being around the corner for them to look at and model themselves after. Irregardless of all of that, the game has been reduced in so many ways. Okay, the quality of skins, a majority of some of the skins has dropped. Yes, there are some really good ones here and there, but majority of the skins nowadays are recolors, and they're charging you full price for recolors. Okay, they can't even price these things appropriately. They're struggling to figure out how to even balance 5v5 properly. Like, Overwatch has had so many problems that, to be honest, it doesn't surprise me that Microsoft doesn't pick it up and say, please come and look at this game. Again, the new season is around the corner. It is legitimately a few days away. As I speak, if I'm not mistaken, it comes out 1 week from now. If I'm not mistaken, it comes out 1 week from now. There is no reason for Microsoft not to put a 30-second teaser, come join us for Season 11 for Overwatch. And here are some Game Pass benefits if you play Overwatch. They did that for Valorant. They did that for all the other games that we talked about today. But do you know what game isn't being mentioned? Overwatch. And it is so depressing. It is so depressing that there are people that sit there and blindly defend every bad decision that Overwatch has made and think that there would be no repercussion for any of this. People that said that surely the PvE wouldn't be cancelled, the PvE missions weren't that bad, we shouldn't criticize the devs because they were probably on crunch and all of this, only for the PvE missions to spectacularly fail. You had people in the Overwatch team saying things like, we are still learning how to make boss fights. Where Overwatch has lacked direction, and I've been saying that for years. I've been saying that for years. When I was a small channel with 100 subscribers, there's only like one guy in my comment section that I see from back in the day, Bosch. He's probably remembering these videos. I used to say this all the time. Overwatch's biggest problem is they do not have a direction. And it has been proven that it doesn't have a direction. And the only direction for this game now is it's gonna just become a Barbie doll simulator where, hey guys, here's the new season, here's a skin, here's a battle pass, here's this really pathetically put together event that we're gonna remove in 3 weeks to strip the identity of this season anyway. And that's it. That's it. That's Overwatch for you. And now here's this collab, this out of touch collab. By the way, Speaking of collabs, did you guys know that they sent out surveys to people asking how often or likely an Overwatch player is to buy a Porsche? If that doesn't scream disconnectivity from the community, I don't know what does. I don't know what does. Please stop being delusional. Overwatch is just being left on self-sustain mode. And unfortunately, this game is not going to have those big moments that we all wanted it to have. It's not going to have the massive cinematics. It's not going to get a Netflix series. I hope to God that I'm wrong and I've overthought all of this and I'm emotionally overreacting because my heart is broken. My heart is seriously broken for Overwatch because Microsoft not even showcasing the most bare minimum thing for Overwatch, it means one thing. They don't care. They do not care. They don't care. They didn't do anything for Overwatch. And there's people that are saying shit like, well, it's not a big deal. You know, the people that bought our property, that bought our IP, them not caring about this, yeah, it's not a big deal. We'll take care of ourselves. But you just proved my point. That's exactly what Overwatch is doing. Just gonna take care of itself with its own resources. No big investor, no big company gives half a shit about it. And that's just what Overwatch has become. A self-sustaining model of skins, of poor balancing decisions, nothing unique and inspiring being offered in terms of gameplay anymore. That's what it's become. And I hope to God that the future looks different. I sincerely hope to God that things get better for this game. But it's rough being an Overwatch fan. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I really, really hope I'm wrong. I love making a fool of myself, so I don't mind if I'm wrong and everything I said wouldn't happen happens. I hope Season 11 is the best thing ever. I hope we get an Arcane-like show. I hope out of nowhere we get surprised with a new PvE campaign. I hope. I've been hoping and praying for 8 years for this game. But at some point, you know, the definition of insanity kicks in. That it's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. But this game has never given us a different result. And I'm sorry, I've been defending this game for 8 years. I've come to accept the reality that this is just a mid-game. It got lucky with a lot of the things that it was able to do right. Great art direction, great quality, great gameplay. Questionable balance decisions, but that's whatever. At the end of the day, there's nothing like Overwatch. I will still play it. I still love it to death. But in my opinion, a game like this should never be as mediocre as it is. This could have been the next Dota, the next League of Legends, if Blizzard, if 𝐓𝐈𝐈_𝐾𝐋, but especially Team 4 handled it better in every shape and form. In every shape and form, the balance, the skin pricing, this, that, everything had to be done right. It's a collective effort from Microsoft, from Activision Blizzard, and from Team 4. All three of them together have made sure to keep this game as mediocre as possible. And that's going to be it for this video. If you want to support the channel for free, like and subscribe. If you want to support the channel financially, my Patreon is up. I have channel memberships down below. They're pretty low prices, so if you do want to help support somebody who's in the final year of university and pretty much funding everything by myself, I would greatly appreciate it. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.